Welcome. Today's video is a bit of a mixed bag. Start with looking at Marginellidae, then we'll look at Ovulidae and Triviidae. So we'll start, I'll just give an overview of the Marginellas. A bit of an overflow down there. All right, so a very interesting family. In Australia, our shells tend to be very small, up to 1 centimetre in most cases. The couple of species might go a little bit larger, but certainly no larger than 2 centimetres. Rex is about the largest one that I'm aware of, and I think its maximum is about 2 centimetres. But the vast majority of the species I have from Australia are certainly less than 1 centimetre. And then if we want to focus on the larger shells, there's many of them there. So Sebastiani, some lovely shells from Senegal. That one there is 70 millimetres. And that one there is 77 millimetres, both beautiful specimens and very large for the species. Desjardins, also from Senegal, and that one is 75 millimetres. Moving a little way from Africa, well, a fair way from Africa, we have from Brazil, Bolata. That one there is 74 millimetres. I know they get considerably larger than that, but that's certainly the largest one I've got. And then if we look at the 2 largest species that I'm aware of, we have Pringai, which is indeed a South African shell. I've got 3 specimens in this drawer. There it is. 3, the largest one amongst those is 110 millimetres, which is my largest Marginella. Some beautiful ones there. And then the largest species is that of the aptly named Gigas. My largest specimen there is 108 millimetres, but I know they get much larger than that. I think they grow 130 to 150 millimetres. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but they certainly get larger than that one there. So, but a beautiful range of shells, beautiful colours. Beautiful shapes. Often you'll find them very plentiful. For instance, I know collecting Northwest Australia, most beaches I visited, I could find them by the thousands, Australis. Could literally find them by the thousands. I think there's an example there. And I think I've got the right name. Just double checking. Yes, Australis. So I could have collected those. There's about 30 or 40 there, but as I said, I could have collected many hundreds, in fact thousands of them. They were just crawling everywhere along a beach that was many kilometres long. So quite incredible. Some beautiful ones here, some typical of the ones you find beached in South Africa. If you ever have the pleasure to go collecting there, sort of from Port Elizabeth and other places. But certainly Africa have absolutely magnificent Marginellas. I think they rival any other area in terms of Marginellas, and some tiny, tiny ones. You know, they get down to under 1 millimetre. So you see many there, very small. In fact, I'd be hard-pressed finding those today. My eyesight, unless I'm close up, would probably miss them. And I'll just put this here, just for those. There's a real mixture there. Quite a few of those small ones are Australian, but a real mixed bag there. A little central specimen of Philippenensis there. And as you can see, lots of very small ones that are only 1 or 2 millimeters. All right, so that's my Marginella. There's about, altogether, it doesn't look like it, but about 200 species there. And some of those, with the small ones, I've got a couple of species in the same container because they're from the same location. All right, let's now go and have a look at Ovulidae, the allied cowries. A very popular family, and some beautiful things there. Whites dominate, but you've got lots of other types. So, a mixture there. I've got another drawer with some more Ovulidae, but lots of Triviidae in the next drawer. All right, just comment on a couple of common ones. So that's a very well-known one. Ovum. Number of shells there, but they're very readily come by, and in fact I have found most of the ones I have collected have been very freshly dead specimens. You can't tell the difference between the dead and the live collected ones, I don't think, if they're very freshly died. So they're from Northern Territory, Western Australia, Queensland, Fiji and Papua New Guinea. Those small ones there are from PNG, although I've certainly seen larger ones from PNG. And then the other very well-known species is vulva, and there's a variety there. And again, I have specimens from Northern Territory, Western Australia, Queensland and PNG, and Mozambique, and also Taiwan. The Taiwan is often called habe. It's like a ribbed, more of a ribbed than a smooth form. So I think it's been given a distinct species name. So there's some habe there. You can see the, if I go closer, you can see the ribs there. Okay. And then in the final drawer, just looking at, it's not a full drawer, lots of Triviidae there, a couple of things to point out. The Mercies there, collected from when I was a youth into my teens. I lived in the southern Sydney area, and every time I went collecting, I might find a specimen or two. So that container, which must have at least 100 specimens in it, were from years and years of collecting. And interesting, most of those shells would be 50 to 60 years old, and most of them look like they were collected yesterday. So if you protect the shells from sunlight and from dust, they can keep for a very long time. And there's my common local one, Orissa, a couple of containers of that here that I've collected in my 40 or so years of collecting in the territory. I just pick them up when I come across them. There must be at least 100 in each container, if not more. And so therefore, let's say there's 200 over 40 years. That's, yes, you can do the maths. So that's 5 a year being added, at least that many. Although I must admit, do I collect them nowadays if I come across them? If they seem like a pristine shell, I will. And so I'll just have a little look now at the remaining ones, just to see what's there. That particular complex from the Americas. There's quite a few different species involved there. Lots of small ones at times in plentiful numbers. That's often what happens. You can find them many at one time, and then at other times you might just find one or two, and it soon builds up, like these species here, over many years to be many specimens. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that look at Marginellidae, Ovulidae and Triviidae.